Everybody wants some blast of magic, 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 magic. Look up the magic you made.
Welcome back. Time for the next all-new Magician 101, the show for all magicians. We have a lot of really great questions, so I got to run through these pretty quickly, so we're going to get right into them. Post your questions down below for next week. I'll get them an answer. Wayne Carter has the first question. Do you ever do tricks at your day job? By the way, I work at the Hallmark card store. That's my day job, and we have 4 ornament events every year. One in July for half the ornaments to come out, one in October for the rest of the ornaments to come out, an open house in November, and a special ornament event in December. And I do my magic at all 4 of those. We always dress up, have a theme for all 4 of those, and they have me, and they always like when I do my magic there. Entertain the customers. So yes, I do. It's really fun. All right. Jason Ramsland has 2 questions and a fake question. His first question is, what are your favorite non-gimmicked magic tricks? I gotta say my 2 favorite non-gimmick magic tricks. One is the 2-card Monty by David Blaine. I don't know if David Blaine actually made this. I'm sure it's like in some, magic book from like 50 years ago. But it's basically what you do is you take the 2 queens and they turn into the 2 aces and you play a game of 2-card Monty. David Blaine did that on one of his TV specials. That's why I call it the David Blaine 2-card Monty, because he did it on a TV special. And another one I really like is Chris Ballinger's Forced Outcome. Really fun trick, and there's no way to actually get it right now because Magic Geek unfortunately is down and gone. But maybe Chris will put that back out at some point. Maybe he can do that at some point. So we'll see what happens there. But I do love that trick as well because it's impromptu, done with a borrowed deck of cards. Question 2: what are your top 5 or so favorite money magic tricks? Okay. There are 4. Now, I don't do a lot of money magic tricks myself because I'm not very good at the sleight of hand, but there are 2 really cool tricks that I do. One is called Guess What? It's by tricksandwands.com or Mom Croswell's Magic Shop. If you've ever been to the Maryland Renaissance Festival, it's the festival's only magic shop. But they put the trick out last year, and it's a Mexican centavo and a $50. You make the centavo turn into a quarter. It's a really cool trick. I've done it on my channel, so go check that out. You can't get it except only at the festival. You might be able to email Tricks and Wands. Go to tricksandwands.com and get their email off there and tell them that you want that trick because they might be able to send it to you. By the way, they also sent me they didn't send me. I paid for the 2 newest tricks. I went to the Maryland Renaissance Festival about a month ago, and they didn't have all the new tricks out. And I emailed them, and they said, "Sure, we'll send you out the other new ones." There were 3. One of them I was like, "Meh," but 2 of them are really cool. So I'll be doing those on this channel soon. And another really good trick that I do on money magic, you have to probably email Barry Taylor. He's got a Facebook page, so you can go on Facebook and message him or whatever. But he put a trick out when he was running Barry's Magic Shop called Barry Taylor's Ultimate Penny Routine, where you take a regular penny, it turns into a $50 size penny, and then it turns into one of those big jumbo pennies, which is really cool. But like I said, Barry doesn't have his shop anymore, so you probably can't. You might probably have to message him to get that. 2 other really cool tricks. One I used to do, but I could never do it. I always would flash is Chris Ballinger's $2 Twister. That was always a really fun trick where you take a $2 bill and it turns into 2 singles. Kind of neat. And then a trick a magician did to me actually on the boardwalk when I was performing. We were chatting after one of my shows, and he said, "I'm a magician. I think I have this trick on me. Let me show it to you." And he turned a 1 into a 5, into a 10, into a 20, and then a 20 gets turned into 2 quarters. Because you say, "You want the 20? You do? Well, don't be greedy." And then it turns into the 2 quarters. That one is called Greed. I hear that's a really good one. But I have a feeling that's really sleight of hand oriented. So I don't know if I would never probably do that trick. All right, and Jason Ramsland's other question was about a John Armstrong card magic DVD, but he said, never mind that question. That's why it's the fake question. And I'm glad you said never mind, because I don't own any John Armstrong DVDs, so I couldn't answer your question anyways. All right, Taylor Lunsford Magic says, what do you think of Coin Sign by Me, Taylor Lunsford Magic, and Drew Sheebley on my channel. All right, so I watched the demo. Really good trick, actually, where you have a signature by a spectator on a card, and then the magician signs another card, and then the signatures switch places. And then at the end, you show the card, you take a picture of it with a cell phone, and then they look at the picture on their cell phone, and the signature is back on the original card. It looks like a good trick. The only thing that I would recommend is I didn't like the demo per se, just because it was, first of all, it was too much text on the screen, and it was heavily edited. Not heavily, but it was edited. You didn't get a continuous shot of the trick. And I would have loved to have seen that in your demo, because that trick was begging for a continuous shot, not any edits in there, which I didn't really like that about that. But and because I didn't really get, you didn't really get to see exactly how the trick, I don't want to say works, but you didn't get to see exactly how the trick goes, like all the sleight of hand involved and all that. I would have loved to have seen no edits, but the trick looks cool to make the signatures switch. The only thing is, after both signatures were signed, it edited to where the cards were on the table, and you didn't get to see if you had to do any sleight of hand or how complicated the sleight of hand was from after the cards were signed. The cards just magically jumped on the table with an edit. So I would have loved to have seen if the sleight of hand, if there was sleight of hand involved, and what it was, or how complex it could have been after the cards were signed. But one thing I found a little weird about the trick was Drew was doing the trick in the demo, and I wish I had a deck of cards here. I have this. I have a Bose radio player. But if this was a deck of cards, Drew was kind of holding it like this. And it was the way he was holding it when the spectator was signing signing the card the first time. The way he was holding it was very odd looking, and I thought something was up. And that to me was kind of like, I didn't really like that about the trick. Just the way he was holding that card, and he didn't really have a big place to sign. So, but I will say, I think it looks really cool. Personally, I would never do it, though, just because I don't like signing cards and that kind of thing. I don't like ruining cards. But there are ways around that, using like one-way forcing decks and things like that. But it still looks really cool. I just would have loved to have seen a demo complete with no edits, no cuts, that kind of thing. Sort of like the Magic Geek demos were, where it was just one continuous shot. There were no edits, no camera tricks, that kind of thing. I would have loved to have seen that. But still, Taylor, a really good trick, and I do recommend everybody checking it out on his channel. All right, Lumos Magic has the final few questions. He says, "Hi, Bob. I have some questions. 1, how much wood would a woodchuck chuck if a woodchuck could chuck wood? A woodchuck would chuck as much wood as a woodchuck chuck if a woodchuck could chuck wood." Bam. All right, question 2. What is your favorite food? That's a tough one. I'd probably have to go pizza. Chicken is a close second. I love like chicken fingers, chicken nuggets, chicken strips, fried chicken, any kind of chicken. I really love it. Except if the chicken is like dry and blah. You know, it has to be good, juicy chicken. But I do love pizza the most, probably. Was watching a very interesting show last night. It's a news show that premiered on the Food Network Monday night, but I missed it Monday, so I watched it on demand. And it was Hungry Games, and a really, really cool show. Learning all about food and stuff like that, and how your brain tricks you into doing certain things with food. But they did an episode on pizza, and they said that 325 slices of pizza are sold in America a second, which is wow. And if you take all the pizza that Americans eat in a year, it'll wrap around the earth 16 times. That is crazy. So I love pizza just like most Americans. All right, question 3. What is your favorite pack of cards? Okay, I have to go with the standard rider-backed deck of cards, but because everybody knows that, because to use one of those special decks of cards, one of those way out there ones in a Magic show, people are gonna say, oh, that could be a phony deck. They could assume that. But using a regular standard deck of cards that everybody's got in their junk drawer at home, the audience is more connected. Now they're gonna know, oh, it's a deck of cards if you pull out one of those special decks, but it's not that same connection in my opinion. But I do love some of those special decks. One of them is the Vaudeville deck. I recommend picking that up. If you're a deck collector, that's a really fun one because it's a really unique deck of cards. And there's one that I'm going to put a link to in the description down below. It's not actually, you can't buy this deck yet, but they're having a Kickstarter campaign. If you don't know what Kickstarter is, it's a place where you can start your dream, basically, and you basically raise money or raise the funds to start this project. And somebody is doing a deck of cards that's a Wizard of Oz deck of cards, and they're going to hand draw these deck of cards. I'm going to leave the link to this Kickstarter down below. I really recommend, when I get paid this week, I'm definitely going to buy a deck of cards from them. But it's a Wizard of Oz deck. You should go check it out because it's really a cool looking deck of cards. And they're going to have 2 decks of cards coming out. One is a regular deck for like every year, but they're doing a special deck as well for the 75th anniversary. So check out that link down below and definitely go send some money to these Kickstarter people. The only problem is they're not shipping worldwide. There's only a United States option for a certain amount of money, and then there's also a UK, but that's it. So, and Lumos Magic also says, what is your favorite TV show for the final question this week? My favorite TV show, I had to wear the shirt. Come on. The Price is Right is my favorite TV show. I love The Price is Right. I watch that religiously. I do. Any game show I really love, but The Price is Right is my all-time favorite TV show. I could sit and watch it forever. I really could. And probably my second favorite TV show. There's a lot of game shows that I like, but I really love The Brady Bunch. I'm a classic TV nut too. I love classic TV like The Brady Bunch, All in the Family, Laverne and Shirley, all those good classic shows that they don't make anymore. Full House is a good one. But my second favorite show is probably The Brady Bunch, and my third favorite is I Love Lucy with Lucille Ball. I love that. That was such a simpler time back then, but that's a really fun show because she was a master at her craft. She really knew how to bring physical comedy and transcend it to TV. So, I Love Lucy. Another really good show. All right, that's going to do it for this week. Make sure to post your questions down below for next week. I'll give them an answer. And I'll see you next Wednesday for another all-new Magician 101. If you'd like to see more awesome content, be sure to hit the subscribe button down below. New videos are posted every day of the week. Also, check out my website and register so you can post in the forums. Follow me on Twitter and Instagram, like me on Facebook, add me to your Google Plus circles, and check out my merchandise store to pick up some awesome swag. 444RR, game shows, magic, and more.